Друзья, сейчас вы меня слышите? Друзья, напишите, пожалуйста, в комментариях, вы меня слышите? Can you hear me now? Я не вижу комментариев. О, появился звук. Очень хорошо. Very well. Да, я слушаю, я слышу. Это ж мне нужно, чтобы я видела все. Окей. Да, слышно сейчас. Да. Все отлично. Отлично. Мне с какой скоростью говорить? Нормальная скорость. Окей. Меня зовут Таня SEMKE, и я учитель школы Smart Russian. Я вас всех благодарю, всем спасибо, что вы учите русский и преподаете русский. Я вижу среди вас коллег. Друзья, сегодня вебинар будет по-английски. So let me continue in English now, because this webinar today is for the level A2, for the elementary level. And as we are going to talk about the grammar and about quite complicated grammar part, we need to be sure that most of you get the main idea of the 6 cases. So today the webinar is in English. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow I'm going to speak in Russian. But so what we are going to talk about today, the 6 cases. We're going to discuss the main idea, the concept. Why do we need so many cases in the Russian language? Then I'll tell you the main technical things that you need to know, you need to consider when dealing with the cases. And finally, in the last part of this webinar, I'm going to talk to you about the technical methods to better memorize the situations in which you need to use one case or another one. Okay? So let me switch. Okay, sorry. Я теперь не вижу комментарии. Не понимаю, что делать надо. Окей. First of all, можешь ты читать комментарии? Можешь ты читать комментарии? Да? И говорить мне, если что-то не так. Окей? Окей. So, я тогда буду в этом. Thank you. So, but first of all, before we start, let me please explain to you why actually we're having this webinar today. The thing is that on the 1st of September, we are launching our practical course, online course, My Russian, and these 6 webinars are for this course as a support, as a grammar theoretical support for the participants of the practical course. And in this webinar program, we have 6 webinars. 3 of them we're going to have on this week, and the other 3 in 3 weeks, on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of September. So But today is the very first one, and we are starting with the level A2 elementary. Okay. So why do we need to work on theory, on grammar first, and then to practice immediately? Just because the idea is that the grammar doesn't go alone. It has to go together, hand in hand with intensive, everyday, consistent practice. Okay? This is why we have created this course that you can join in September. So, is that clear? The webinars are theoretical and they are made to support the participants of the practical course. So, let's start talking about the cases. You see on the screen 4 steps for the successful dealing with the cases. First of all, you need to get the main concept. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Can you look at the screen, please? And can you please write in comments, what are you seeing right now? What are you seeing right now? Any ideas?
25 секунд задержка не найдет, а ты не ждешь код.
Okay, you see a cat, yes? It's caught. So you see different cats in different, let's say, situations, okay? They're all doing some natural for cats, weird for people things. But the cases are just like these cats and their locations and situations that you're seeing them right now in. The cases are situations, first of all. This is the main concept. You need to imagine the cases as situations. The cases come, the word case comes from Latin and Greek languages, and it means a situation, right? So you always need to think of the situation when you read or you want to say something. You have to first of all imagine the situation, and then you go more easily with the case, with the grammar, okay? But first of all, you need to switch on your imagination. So, the Russians, we have 6 cases, right? All of you, I hope, and I'm sure, all of you know these cases. It's nominative, accusative, locative, genitive, dative, and instrumental, right? So 6 cases. And you need to think of the cases as different physical and mental relationships between 2 or more elements or components. Okay, so you have to have 2 components in your head to connect them in a certain way, and this certain way of connection between those 2 components is a certain case. Let's take a look on this beautiful creature. two components that we are having right now are кошка and nature, природа. So a cat and a nature. What is this creature in the nature? Okay, so we need we need to find this basic fact about this cat. What is it about this creature? What is it? Что это? Это кошка. Okay, we're trying to connect the nature, the mother nature, the big one, with many creatures, and between the mother nature and this particular creature. So, это кошка? Да, это кошка. And this is nominative because we're given a name. Okay? Это кошка. So, it's one situation when you can see this connection, this relationship between two components. Let's move on, and what we see now is still this cat, кошка, and this sink is раковина, раковина. So we see кошку, we see here кошка и раковина. How can we, what do we see actually? What we see is the cat is in this sink, right? So, кошка в раковине. Кошка в раковине. It's not under, it's not above, it's not far, it's not near, it's right inside, okay? It's laying in this sink. So, this is why we say кошка в раковине, because we want to be exact, we want to be precise, okay? The next one, кошка, and you can imagine above it's stove, a table. So we again have two components, кошка and stove. What can we say? See in this picture. Кошка под столом. Okay, you might not know the preposition pod, but you already see the situation. Where is the cat? It's under the table. Okay, and you want to be precise, right? You want to be accurate about location of about saying the location of this cat. So you want to connect this кошка and the table. Next one. Again, we see кошка and stол. To connect this table and this cat, we need to see what is she. Okay, about all the cats, I think she. So I'm gonna use she in this webinar. So кошка, she is on the table, right? She is on the table. Then it's one situation. We can say so. Where is the cat? It's on the table. Кошка на столе. Кошка на столе. And we use the preposition на to just say that she's there on the table. But what if we want to be to go in details and say exactly what she's doing right now as she's walking on the table? Okay, then we will use another preposition, which is по. Кошка идет по столу. And we will modify again the word стол. And this will be another case. a different case because the situation is different already. It is not the same anymore as the first one, кошка на столе. It's two different situations, right? And we have to reflect that. This is why we have 6 cases in Russian language. We actually have more of them, but Russian students at school, at high school, and foreign students, when you learn Russian language, you learn only 6 cases. That's more than enough, I think. Another one, кошка и дверь. So, it's clear, right? She's waiting there in front of the door. Кошка перед дверью. Then, кошка is trying to get out. Кошка, комната, she's getting out of the room. Кошка выходит из комнаты. Okay. Кошка и молоко. Cat and milk. Кошка и молоко. How do we connect these two components? Кошка пьет молоко. In this case, молоко is the object of her action. All these pictures and all these situations show you different cases, okay? We're going to talk about them later, but I want you to be aware right now that all these pictures illustrate for you different cases, different grammatical cases. You've seen already genitive, you've seen accusative, you've seen locative and instrumental, and even, okay, but you've seen all of the cases in those pictures. And the picture that you're seeing right now, the picture that you are seeing right now, this elegant cat, кошка и стол. So, кошка, again, кошка на столе. Кошка на столе. That's easy, right? You already know this. This is locative, by the way. When we say that something is somewhere, then it's locative. When we use, then we use the preposition na and the preposition v, and that's locative. Na when it's a surface, and v when you're inside, when you have something inside a closed space. So на столе, on the table. But you also see on this table a laptop. In Russian it's notebook. Кошка, стол, notebook. We already have 3 components. And this is what sometimes is difficult for foreign students. They can't get this moment that in one sentence there can be 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 cases one by one going, okay? So this is exactly this situation. We have 2 cases here because 2 different types of relationships, of physical relationships, okay? How do we connect кошка and стол easily? Кошка на столе. But then we need to connect кошка, тише, кошка и ноутбук. Кошка рядом с ноутбуком. Рядом с ноутбуком. Okay? Рядом с ноутбуком is what you see now. Рядом с ноутбуком. Or, okay, рядом с ноутбуком we used a preposition рядом с, which is instrumental case. We can say just the same situation, the same position of the cat. We can use another preposition, a different preposition, and it will be a different case. That happens rarely, but it does happen sometimes. So the same thing we can say кошка на столе возле ноутбука. Возле ноутбука. Okay? Let's move on. And finally, we are passing to the next part. Это кошка. Again, это кошка. Very simple. Example. And this is nominative, right? This is nominative because we're given a name to this, to what we see. Это кошка. And we can say, это моя любимая кошка Даша. Даша, it's her nickname. Моя любимая кошка Даша. This is important. Это моя любимая кошка Даша. In this sentence, we use 4 different types of words. And we're going to talk about them right now. Okay, that was the main concept. To imagine a situation before starting to think about the grammar, you need to imagine very, very well the situation. The next step is to learn the endings, okay? The endings, not of just one type of words, nouns, but you have 4 types of words that you need to learn by heart. Let's leave for a while our cats and take an example that the man who are watching me right now will probably like. So what do you see? A man, a car, and you need to say something about that, right? You can say many things, but I suggest you the following. Я машина факт. So if it's my car, I should say это моя, for example, it's my first sports car. Это моя первая спортивная машина. Это моя первая спортивная машина. Okay? Let's take sentence as an example. I suggest you. We always change 4 types of words, always. Nouns, pronouns, all types of pronouns. Adjectives and numerals, okay? What we have? We have the basement, okay, which goes on the top, by the way. Это машина. And this is a nominative sentence. Это машина. Then we can say это моя машина. And this моя will, of course, go in nominative form as well. Then we have an adjective. What kind of car? Это моя спортивная машина. All this go in nominative because the word машина is in nominative. and the whole sentence will be in nominative. Then, это моя, we add a numeral. Это моя первая. This is an ordinal numeral. Это моя первая спортивная машина. Okay? So, now we have this. Это моя первая спортивная машина. We have a pronoun, a numeral, an adjective, and a noun. All of them agree in case. So all of them are in the nominative form. What happens in the rest of the cases? We have to change every single word. So, это моя первая спортивная машина. It goes together. Whatever happens in the sentence, in other sentences, with this word машина, will also happen to the other words that describe this машина. Okay? Моя первая спортивная. These are characteristics of the word машина, and they go together with this word wherever it goes. Let's take a look. Accusative. I took here the most common examples, the most common situations for each case. And for accusative, it can be купить. Я купил. Я купил мою первую спортивную машину. Can you see? You change every single word ending. Мою instead of моя. Then первая, первую. And so on. Спортивная, спортивную машину. Just the same happens in the other cases. Я еду на моей первой спортивной машине и наслаждаюсь. Then, фото. Это фото моей первой спортивной машины. Okay? I think it's more or less clear to you. Just remember 4 types of words. Nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and numerals, they all decline. If they are in the sentence, you have to be sure that they decline. Make sure that you change the endings. Here, in this, we're not going, okay, you can see here that it's quite a lot, right? A lot of endings, a lot of rules. And you have to know that every single case has its own paradigm, its own system of rules of how you have to change every single type of words according to the system to the system of each case. Okay, so you basically have 6 different systems for 4 word types, which is quite a lot. So, and I want to recommend you this beautiful book, which is very, very clearly organized in terms of navigation. Always know where to go and where you are. It's all in tables. It's only tables and charts. It's not a promotion. It's just my advice. I highly recommend you to use this book. It will help you to go through the cases and other questions of the Russian grammar. Okay, and here you will find all the forms and all the rules for the endings. Okay, as there are quite a lot of them, we're not going to stop on the endings, but we will talk about the concept more. As for the cases, you also can use our grammar charts, declension charts, which you can see on the screen now. You can see the declension chart of adjectives, and you see the adjectives on the circle. But yes, this is the chart that you can use. So my point is that you can use different charts. Okay, there are many charts that exist. You can take any of them and practice. Your goal is to learn by heart all the 6 cases systems for each group of words. And now, how to change a word машина? Let's revise a little bit. How to change a word машина? First of all, what do you need to think about, to consider? You need to think, what is it? Is it a noun? Is it a pronoun? Is it an adjective or a numeral? Okay? Again, every single case has its own system for every single word type. Okay? So, you have rules of the accusative case for nouns. You have rules of the accusative case for pronouns, and so on for adjectives, for numerals. So first of all, you need to decide what it is. In this case, машина is noun. Then you need to think of the gender. Is it masculine? Is it feminine or neuter? Because you have different endings for nouns of masculine gender, nouns of feminine gender, for nouns of neuter gender, and so on. Every single type of words have their own systems for each gender. Okay, just be careful with this analysis. Then you also need to know what it is, singular or plural. Okay, because again you decline, you change constantly singular and plural forms. Then you need to, all this, you need to know what the nominative form is, the basic form. Okay, it's the vocabulary form, as they say. You find words on dictionary in the nominative form. Okay, so this is the 0 form that we start from. And to change correctly any type of the words, you need to know its nominative form. Okay, and once you know the nominative form, for example, this машина, you look at this машина and you need to look at the very end of this word, машина, at the end, the ending. You need to check the ending. Is it hard? Like we have hard consonants and hard vowels, and we have soft consonants and soft vowels. And when talking about the cases and declensions, we normally talk about hard and soft endings, okay? And you need to follow the phonetic harmony rule, which is you always change words, those words that in the nominative form have a hard ending. Whatever you do with these words, however you change them, if in the nominative form you had a hard ending, then you have to change it into a hard one. And the opposite, if it was a soft ending, for example, тетя, right? You have я, тетя, this soft vowel. Then you will change this word considering this, okay? All the endings that you will add, they will be soft as well. Okay, this is the phonetic harmony rule in Russian. And at last, knowing all these details, all these facts about a word, then you can think of the case. Okay? Right. Let's look at some examples. Okay? Этот умный человек. I hope that you recognized its masculine form. Человек is a masculine noun, and of course we have a masculine adjective and a masculine demonstrative pronoun этот. Этот умный человек. Okay? And in the cases, what happens? Я давно знаю этого умного человека. Я давно знаю этого умного человека. Locative. Я часто думаю об этом умном человеке. Об этом умном человеке. Без этого умного человека наш бизнес не будет работать. Okay? Genitive. When we don't have something, when we want to say, talk about a shortage or an absence of something, we say без этого умного человека не будет работать бизнес. Дальше. Dative. Я хочу сказать спасибо этому умному человеку. Instrumental. Я часто разговариваю с этим умным человеком. Dear friends, dear spectators and participants, we are not, again, I want to make it clear, we are not stopping on the endings. Okay, we are not talking today about the endings, as at the level A2 you're supposed to know the endings. We talk in general what we need to do, what we need to consider, and how to deal better with the cases. Okay, so please recall all you know about the endings. I'm sure you do know a lot. Okay, here is наше первое романтическое свидание. Свидание is a date. Наше первое романтическое свидание. And here I've taken, I took свидание, neuter noun. свидание, okay? It's like окно, like молоко, like решение. We have two typical endings in neuter forms. It's or, it's е, or a variant of е и е. So, свидание. I hope you recognize it. Наше первое романтическое свидание. And look at what happens. The accusative does not change. I just remind you, we're not talking today about this, but I just want to remind you that neuter in accusative does not change. Ты вспоминаешь наше первое романтическое свидание? Вспоминаешь? Then, locative. Это было на нашем первом романтическом свидании. You see the changes? Genitive. Место of what? This is a place of what? Место нашего первого романтического свидания. Again, we change all the four words. Dative. Я долго готовилась к нашему первому романтическому свиданию. I remind you that you need to learn these forms by heart. This is the only way to get fluent in Russian. Without this, you can't go forward. You can't speak beautifully without the cases and without being sure about the endings. So you need to take some time and learn the endings by heart. It's not that difficult, okay? And what can help with the endings is charts like this. It's not our charts. It's not a publicity, but this is a chart that we just recommend to all of our students. It's very comfortable to work with this chart, as you can have everything you need to learn at on one piece of paper. Okay, it's A4 format. And we're not going to discuss this chart now, but this is very, very easy to follow, okay? It is very easy to study with, and we're going to share these charts. They come in PDF. We're going to share these charts with all of the participants of our practical course so that they can practice more effectively. And this chart has two sides. Okay, so again, only endings. Here you have all the endings that you need to learn, and you have words, typical words for each word type, for each ending. You have typical forms here, so it's very, very helpful. And again, all the participants of the practical course will have these charts to practice as efficiently as possible. And Right. Here again, I want to tell you about this course. We start on the 1st of September, and it's for 28 days on Telegram. It's the program you can see on the screen right now. I invite all of you to our practical course because it's really something that gives us so much joy, gives joy to us, and I know that all the participants are having so much fun and they do progress, and for us it's so important, and we want to invite more people to this project, to this course, and to work with more people. So if you are the one who like doing a little bit but every day, 15 minutes a day, tasks are so funny, so engaging that it's not really difficult at all to find those 15 minutes a day to complete a small task. And we're authentic videos, contemporary modern texts. We discuss hot topics that you really need now in real life, and you have individual lessons. Every week of the month you have one individual lesson to discuss your progress with your teacher, and also you have the webinars, the theoretical webinars, and every day we give you, the teachers, we give you our feedback, personalized feedback. Okay, and the link is below the video. You can join us right now. I remind you, we start already very soon. Now, let's get back to our cats. They're still here. The cats. So, these situations, actually, on the pictures, the cat is drinking milk, the cat is sitting in front of the door, laying on the table, and so on. Those are not just nice cats, nice pictures of nice cats. These are typical situations, pattern situations of each case. Okay, and let's move on. Okay, the third step that you need to take is to learn typical situations for each case. Let's say you already have learned all the endings. Then, what to do with all these endings? People who already have passed this step of the endings of this technical part of the cases, they know that knowing all the endings, all the rules, it's not enough. You have to be sure then about using them correctly in situations. And this is interesting. So, there are many, as you can imagine, there are enormous amount of situations in life, and every situation is a case. Okay, so it's not possible to learn all of them by heart. So how to know that in this particular situation you have to use the genitive case, or in the other one, the accusative case? Let's talk about that. The good news is that we have types, we have typical situations, or some people call them pattern situations, a very modern word now. And in each case, for each case, there are from 15 to 20 situations which are typical for each case. Okay, so good news is that you only need to memorize 120 situations in total. It's not that much. Okay, locative. Кошка на столе. This is locative because it's location. We're talking about the location of this cat. Кошка на столе. You know all this, right? So, we should think that кошка на столе is a typical situation. What does that mean? It means that other situations in which we can think that this is just like a cat on a table, the situations will be of the same type of this one with the cat on the table. Like, for example, ребенок в комнате. Ребенок в комнате. Where is the baby? In the room. В комнате. Ребенок в комнате. Собака в саду. It's location. Where is the dog? The dog is in the garden. В саду. Рыба в холодильнике. Рыба в холодильнике. Мы на вебинаре. Мы на вебинаре. Жить в Амстердаме. All these situations are locative situations. Жить в Амстердаме, работать в банке. So, when do we use the locative case? I regrouped all the situations, and there are 5 basic ones. There are more than 5, obviously, but I wanted to give you the main idea of the locative case. So, when do we use locative? Obviously, when it's location. В комнате, в больнице, на улице, на диване, сидеть в автобусе. Okay? Сидеть в автобусе. When we're not driving, we're not moving anywhere, we're just sitting inside. Then, transport. Transport, when we are moving somewhere, actually by vehicle. Ехать на машине, на автобусе, лететь на самолете. When we are moving somewhere by vehicle, this is locative. Then, object of mental activity. What does that mean? Думать о работе. Думать о работе. Мечтать о карьере. Говорить о любви. Спрашивать о прогрессе. Волноваться о детях. Книга о России. This is also an object of the mental activity of the author of this book. Okay? This is why it is in the same group. Книга о России. Then, playing musical instruments. Играть на гитаре. Играть на барабанах. And time placement. When. Практический курс My Russian начинается в сентябре. With months and years and weeks, we use the locative case. В сентябре, в 2020 году. На следующей неделе. And more. Okay? please let me know if you're following me, if the speed is comfortable for you. Another situation. Accusative. Accusative. Кошка пьет молоко. Кошка пьет молоко. The same can be собака ест мясо. The situation is just the same. We only change the components of the situation. Собака ест мясо. Собака ест мясо. Or ребенок ест конфеты. Зачем? Ребенок ест конфеты. Гости дегустируют вино. Гости дегустируют вино. Кубинец курит сигары. Кубинец курит сигары. So, кубинец, a man from Cuba, it's just the same as a cat that drinks milk. Кубинец курит сигары. Okay, so the situation is the same as this typical situation. For us, we have taken this кошка пьет молоко as typical one, but it can be any situation that you like, that is simple to you, simple enough to memorize. And then we only need to keep in mind this typical situation and only change the component in those typical situations, okay? And this is how we manage to memorize different types of situations in which we use different cases. When to use accusative? When it's object of an action. Любить маму. Okay, mama is the object of our love, of the act of love. Любить маму. Пить воду. Again, what are you drinking? It's the object of the action. Любить маму, пить воду, покупать одежду, слушать рок, читать статью, фотографировать цветы. Then, destination. Destination, we're going somewhere. Идти в ресторан. Ходить в театр. Лететь на Кубу. Лететь на Кубу. Next, when to use genitive. So genitive, we use it. Genitive is one of the most difficult cases. There are many typical situations and they are very different from each other. Dates. When we say full dates. When 2 апреля 2020 года. Every single word was in genitive case. 2 апреля 2020 года. Then, amount. 5 машин. 3 дня. 10 часов. When you have a number, then right away you use the genitive case. If you don't have a number but you have some quantifiers, много, мало, немного. Много людей, мало времени. Absence or shortage of something. Нет молока. У нас нет молока. В Москве или в любом другом мегаполисе нет свежего воздуха. Нет свежего воздуха. Не хватает времени. Не хватает времени. Origin. Он из Аргентины. Мы приехали из Лондона. And another one, possession. У меня есть. What in English is I have. In Russian, it's a special construction. У меня. You can replace меня with anything or anybody, and this the one who possess will be in genitive. У меня, у моего брата. Again, I remind here that мой брат, both words change. У моего брата. У всех людей есть 24 часа. Again, у всех людей. Все люди, I change both words. У всех людей есть 24 часа. And again, 24 часа. Часа is genitive. Because it's the amount. 24. 24. Okay. We pass to the dative. When to use dative? Addressee of action. Давать совет другу. Here, другу is dative. Дарить цветы женщинам. Женщинам is the dative form. Говорить комплименты директору. Директору. Звонить родителям. Звонить родителям. Direction. And direction, as you know, is the accusative case, but with some exception, it's people. Идти к доктору. Идти к доктору. Ехать к подруге. Ехать к подруге. Specialization. Книга по бизнесу. Книга по бизнесу. Специалист по маркетингу. Менеджер по развитию. По бизнесу это dative. По маркетингу это dative. По развитию dative. Physical and emotional states. Those impersonal constructions. What in English is I am hot. In Russian it's impersonal. Мне жарко. Мне жарко. Ему холодно. Ребенку. Другу приятно. Ой, мне очень приятно. Приятно познакомиться. Мне приятно познакомиться. This is dative. All this. With certain words, like мне нужно. Мне нужно. Ей нужно. Ей важно. Нам нельзя. And so on. So again, here I'm giving you only the most common situations, types of situations for each case. Where is this cat? This cat is under the table. Под столом. Под столом. It's also location, but we're not using locative. So, locative we use only for surfaces and when we're inside of something. Inside something. Here, another type of locating object. Where's the cat? The cat is under the table. Под столом. Okay? Под столом. Instrumental. It is instrumental. The cat is under the table. It's instrumental. Под столом. When? In what other? Let's look right away at the very last type of situations here. Location, number 5. Location. Под столом, над столом, which is above. Перед столом, перед дверью, перед дверью. За дверью. They're all opposites, right? Перед дверью, за дверью. Перед, in front of, за, behind. За дверью. And between, между мной и тобой. So, these prepositions and type of locating objects, they are used in the instrumental case. Okay? When else do we use the instrumental? Well, obviously, the name comes from the word instrument. So, when we use an instrument, or when we use something as an instrument, for example, вилка, fork, есть вилкой, есть вилкой. We use a fork to eat. So, this is our instrument to eat. Есть вилкой. Писать ручкой. We use a pen to write. So, писать ручкой. Togetherness. When something goes together with something else or somebody else. Чай с сахаром. This is my favorite example and it stays forever in the students' heads, I think. Чай с сахаром. Идти в кино с другом. Here, с сахаром, с другом will be the instrumental forms. Жить с родителями. Жить с родителями. Then, after certain verbs that you just need to memorize, okay? Заниматься спортом. The words заниматься, интересоваться. I'm giving you two verbs here. There are a little bit more, but these are really common ones. Заниматься спортом, интересоваться политикой. And then, after certain verbs, быть. Okay, быть. You know that we do not use, in the present tense, we do not use the verb to be in Russian language. But when we use, no matter what tense it is, when we use words быть, literally these words быть, стать, работать, we need to use instrumental case. Быть доктором. Он хочет быть доктором. Стать доктором. Он хочет стать доктором. Работать доктором. Okay? Он доктор. This is nominative. Он доктор. We're just naming his occupation, his profession. Okay, он доктор. But once we want to use работать, он работает доктором. Доктором. Хорошо? And here also казаться, to seem. Казаться доктором. Он кажется доктором, но на самом деле, в реальности, он не доктор. Хорошо? Понятно вот это? Is that clear? So, what do you need to do? You need to visualize. Every single time you need to visualize every situation that you're facing, you want to describe, you want to talk about. You have to imagine this situation. Like those cats, where is the subject? Where is the object? What is the object? If there is an object, you need to think of the situation as a picture. You need to picture it, and then it will be more clear, it will be easier for you to choose the right case. Okay. You need to describe. As a practice, we recommend you to describe different situations. As the best practice is when you, I don't know, read books or read magazines and you see a picture, or on Instagram you see different pictures every single day. You choose a picture and you start to describe it. No matter how simple it is, it can be a girl on the beach, that's fine. You describe it, okay? You try to give as many details as you can find, and you always need to think of the relationships between the subject and the location, like with the cats. For example, you look at this picture. What can you think about? Can you give some words to describe what you're seeing right now? My version is молодая девушка сидит на кровати. Locative, because it's the location of this girl. В своей комнате. Okay? Again, в своей комнате. Locative, because she's inside. И слушает музыку. She's listening to music. Music is the object of her listening. So, она слушает музыку. This is accusative, because we're talking about the object of an action. It's 100% the accusative case. And practicing like this, you get step by step, get used to imagining situations and describing them from the point of view, from this point of view. Draw. You need to draw. Simply, quickly, but you need to draw in your imagination, in your head, or on paper, but you need to draw, you need to picture situations. And very quickly, you start slowly, but then you will do it faster and faster, and that's how you get fluent with the cases. You need to draw a picture. You need to think, where is the cat? The cat is in the sink. If it's so, if you can draw the sink and inside it a cat, then it's locative. And the practice that I really like to recommend to my students is to take only one case's typical situations and put them in one story, to put them together and make a story out of them, and to draw this story, and then to tell this story to yourself or to your partner, to a stranger maybe, but the thing is to make your mind to create your own story. Okay, so this active practice is the best one. And here, my example, I took locative situations here, those that we talked about before. Ездить на коне. Ездил на коне. Ездить на коне. Играть на гитаре, musical instrument, and an object of mental job. Мечтать о Москве. I took 3 of them and I made a little story with them. В 1995 году, locative because it's a year, я жил в маленькой деревне, locative because where, it is location. Ездил на коне, locative. Играл на гитаре, locative. We've just said why. И мечтал о Москве. And this is locative. And this is a very simple, human-like story. And it's very easy to memorize, right? So you need to practice storytelling. You need to practice telling those little stories based on typical situations. Okay, and this is how you memorize typical situations for each case. And then when you face a situation that is new to your Russian mindset, you only need to compare this real situation from real life to the one that you already have learned, to one of the typical situations. If they correspond, then you just need to replace the components. Okay? If you're not so sure about your own fantasy, about your own imagination, use ours. You can use our stories to practice with. Here on the screen, I just wanted to show to you one of the cases. This is nominative. Будет ли запись? Okay. I will answer to all the questions after the webinar, but here is the one. Будет ли запись вебинара? Будет запись вебинара. Спасибо, Дарья. On the screen, you see now the nominative case. 15 typical situations for the nominative case in a small comics. It's a small love story of a student. Okay, and it's I think easy to memorize. So you can use you can use our small stories to practice the cases. As you can understand, every single episode in this comics is a typical situation of the nominative case. And also, what is important here, I wanted to mention this as well. You always need to do a double job. What it means is when you're practicing the cases, you need to at the same time grow your vocabulary, grow your synonym vocabulary. And it's very comfortable to do it with the stories like this. For example, here you have a piece of the story, of the nominative story, and you have 4 different typical nominative situations. For example, number 9. Ему нужна таблетка. Okay? Ему нужна таблетка. He needs a pill. In English, it's he needs. In Russian, it's impersonal. Ему нужна. Ему нужна. And then таблетка comes in nominative form. You know that it's a typical nominative situation. Ему нужна таблетка. That's okay. You know that. But then, practicing at home, you can, practicing alone, you can come up with more examples. Okay? You can accumulate different examples that will fit this typical situation. Ему нужна таблетка. Ему нужна подруга. Ему нужен доктор. Ему нужно время. Ему нужны деньги, например. For example. Or the situation, the episode number 13. Ивану очень нравится Света. A very simple situation. Ивану очень нравится Света. What in English is he likes her. In Russian it's ему нравится Света. And Света here is the nominative form. Ивану нравится. Again, it is impersonal, an impersonal structure. You just memorize it the way it is. Мне нравится. Мне нравится Света. Ивану нравится футбол. Ивану нравятся красивые девушки. So all these are very natural, very logical, right? Ивану, he's a young man, нравятся красивые девушки. It's logical. And your job is to come up with more of examples like this, of more logical and natural examples like this. And this is how your brain will automatically collect those situations, and your ability to speak faster with more confidence about the cases will grow up along with this type of practice. Again, my program tells me to remind about this course that is starting on the 1st of September, and I invite all of you to this course because there we are going to practice with the materials that you have just seen on the screen. Okay, I go a little bit backwards. We're going to use these ready to tell stories, ready to practice stories in our practical course. Those who have already passed the course know what I'm talking about. And if you think the course is good for you, the course is interesting for you, you can register right away after the webinar. There is a special price lower than a normal one, and you can do it within 3 hours right after the webinar. And the link, we'll leave the link below this video, the link to the website. Again, sorry. And again, I want to say that today our webinar was for the elementary level, and we wanted to revise everything that you need to know in general about the cases to have this bigger idea of what the cases are and how to work with them, because many people, when they start to speak Russian, they are in rush. They want to learn words. They want to speak right away, which is fine, which is great, and which is what we do on our practical course on Telegram. But still, you need to know the cases, you need to learn the endings, and you need to learn the situations. So I repeat, you have 4 steps to follow. You have one more time, just a second. You have these 4 steps to follow that you see on the screen. You need to get the main concept which we discussed today, and I hope you got it. You need to learn the endings, and I've given you the charts. I remind you that we're going to share the visual chart with the participants of the practical course, so that they can practice more efficiently. Otherwise, you can purchase not from us. We do not have this book, unfortunately, but you can buy it on Amazon, I think. The book that I showed to you, the Russian grammar in charts and tables, super useful, and that's how you can learn the endings. And then you learn typical situations for each case, and that's what we do. We really learn and practice the situations, the typical situations of each case, so that you are sure about 20 situations in which to use the genitive case, about other 20 situations in which to use the accusative case, and so on. We practice that during the practical course in the group A2. And that's it. And then you practice a lot. You need to practice a lot. What do you do for practicing? You, as we said, you describe any picture you see. When you are on Instagram, you try to describe what you see on a picture. Then you, when you hear something or when you read something and you think, okay, here's some situation, so some case, let me draw it. You try to draw it on paper or in your imagination, in your head. You draw a situation. You need to picture every situation to know what case it is. Okay, because every situation is some sort of relationship between 2 or more components. Right. So this is it. I'm really excited about this webinar because this is my first webinar and this is really challenging to me, and I like challenges. So again, I remind you about this special pricing within 3 hours right after the webinar. I'm waiting for you there on our practical course. I promise it is very effective. It's not because I want to promote this course, but because I really do like the result in the previous groups. We are finishing now, and just a second. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to have the second webinar at the same time. Глаголы, движения с префиксами, verbs of motion with prefixes. This webinar will be in Russian for the level B1. We are going to discuss 8 verbs of motion, basic ones, with and 2 groups. 15 prefixes and their characteristics, the meanings, then special cases of modification, like при плюс ездить will be приезжать. We change the spelling. And префиксы по, про и с. This is okay, and префиксы по, про и с will be also tomorrow discussed during the webinar. Okay, please now let me know if you liked this webinar, if it was useful for you, if you have a more if you have a more clear idea of the cases. Please let me know if it was useful for you, this webinar. Дарья, you're writing ура, спасибо большое. Дарья, thank you so much for your attention. Rich mindset. I took this course A2 in July. It really helped me to improve. Thank you, Tanya. Rich mindset. Okay, thank you so much. Дарья Григулева. Thank you. Спасибо, друзья. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do we need to make a course on the cases, a theoretical course in which there will be 7 lessons, 6 lessons for each of this, for 6 cases, 1 lesson for each case, and 1 lesson that covers all the 6 cases. Is it a good idea to make a course for the elementary level of 7 lessons online course? Is it a good idea? Thank you so much. Спасибо, друзья. the program of the webinar that is going to be tomorrow, you see on the screen. I hope to see you there. And please, those of you who are interested in practicing with me and with our teachers from Smart Russian School, please register right now. You have the special prize only 3 hours after the webinar. I hope to see you on the course, and I hope to see you tomorrow on our free webinar for verbs of motion. Thank you so much. Have a very great continuation.